Ryan Cole, thanks for taking the time. First time we visited this year. So just talk to me about cross-country teams, how they doing, men and women.
Yeah, they're off to a really good start. You get into the school year and go up to your team camp, kind of get everybody together and get into your normal training routine coming off of the summer. And then before you know it, you start having meets. And that's always kind of, one of the fun parts or the highlights of the season. So we took a young group over to Nebraska to kind of gain some experience there on both the men's and the women's side. And then we had our first big invitational this past weekend with the men in Wisconsin and the women in Missouri. And so both groups are off to a good start, but still a long way to go.
Obviously, it's a team event, but Hallie Hamilton and Max Sains on the men's side really performing well. Tell us a little bit more, because we can read the headlines, but about the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think when you look at both teams, they're in a very similar situation in the sense that I think they're one of about 15 to 20 teams in the NCAA right now that are competing to kind of be in that 25 to 35, 40 sort of range. And when you take 31 teams to the national championship, you want to be inside that top 30 rather than number 35. So both genders are right on that cusp right now, and we tend to, knock on wood a little bit, but you tend to get better as you go through the season. You just get a little more comfortable with the racing. We tend to have people continue to improve, which is always what you want to do, and be at your best at the end. But on the women's side, this past weekend in Missouri, we had a group of 4 women that executed really well together. 3 of those 4 women were seniors, with Tiari Toller, Hallie Hamilton, and Allie Peterson, and then India Jones being a junior. But India's an older, more experienced athlete as well. So those 4 women grouped up and did a really nice job navigating a very large field of over 350 women. So they did a really nice job working together, and our women's team benefited from that. And then you look at, if the rest of the team saying, okay, we need one more person, to be that 5 and close that gap. And I think that will help us accomplish being that top 30 team. And when you look at our group, I think we have anywhere from 3 to 6 women that are great candidates for that and are very capable of doing that this season. Men's side, again, we have some leadership on the team that's experienced, but we graduated a lot over the last couple years. And so for this year, when we went to Wisconsin, we had 7 men, and for 5 of them, that was their first time in kind of a large scale, you could, I guess, call it like a varsity cross country race. So we only had 2 kind of veterans in there. We only have 1 from our top 7 last year that was in that race, and the men still competed very well. And I think, our top 3 ran really well with Max Sanis, Zach Ayers, and then Tanner Lindhall probably was the highlight of that competition for us, because he's someone as a junior. It's been a rough first few years with some injuries, some learning curve, and he stuck with it. He cross-trains his butt off, just works really hard, can't always run the most mileage, and so he finds other ways to make himself successful. And he was out there competing with guys that are really good athletes, and so he kind of saved our team a little bit this past weekend on the men's side. But then looking at those younger guys kind of in the back half of the team gaining experience, and you have to be out there to gain it, right? So they gained some experience, and still looking for some of our younger guys to continue to step up and solidify that top 5. So overall, a lot of positives for both genders this past weekend, and continue to move forward here in the season.
You usually travel to where the runners are, but for the next couple of weeks, you're going to actually be at home. Does it help, like sleeping in your own bed, not having to travel?
Yes and no. I mean, I think sometimes the team gets excited to travel, go see somewhere new, see some uniforms that maybe are a little out of our region, or, see some friends that they may have that they ran against in high school that went to different schools all across the NCAA. So I think there are benefits to both. But yeah, being able to go down to a place where we train regularly and be able to put on the uniform and compete, less wear and tear from travel, that sort of thing. So there are definitely positives to both scenarios, and it's nice to be able to take advantage of some local meets.
Awesome. Ryan Cole, thanks. Good luck this weekend and next.
Thank you. Appreciate it.